The flying device here is it's a dark olive, or I suppose some people might say it's just maybe a sooty olive to some people. Well, look, it's worked for me on Mask, Lough Corrib, the local lakes and reservoirs. Anytime there's an olive hatch, it's great. Middle dropper fly. So look, let's get to time one of these. It's a size 12 fulling mill heavy wet in black nickel, but you can use bronze. What I have here is just some black UTC 70. I'm just going to run that down pretty much to the bend of the hook. So just stop it just in line with the barb there. Trim that off. I'm using Tommy Fly orange UV in number 14. And what I'm going to do, just pull off a longish strand, cut it off, and just going to fold it around the thread here. That'll make it easy to tie in, and also just doubles the diameter of it. So go down around the bend the distance that you think you need, bring your thread back up to your starting position. Then bring that orange UV floss forward, mix the little hot spot there, and catch it in. And actually, go back one. The easiest thing to do here, if you want to, is just to bring this forward around the length of the body. Just catching it underneath and open turns there. What I'll do then is I thread out of the way and I just trim that off. You can keep that, you can use that piece for another fly, or you can fold it a few times to make a tail. Just to protect this a little bit, I'm going to add a drop of clear varnish. Now it'll look like it dulled, but it'll soak in and dry, and to be honest, it'll be plenty UV after it dries. So you'll see there, it doesn't really lose its fluorescence. That'll dry and it'll be fine. So I start to bring our thread back down the body. I just stop a bit short, and for the tail on this I'm going to use bronze mallard. So I'm going to pull a few strands off at a right angle, pull them off, and then just fold them over and give them a roll around in my fingers. Now sometimes this happens, if that happens, when you pull off the stem, I always trim those away. So you're looking at about the length of the body. Some people like a little bit longer, some like a little bit shorter. I find on this that a longish tail isn't too bad actually. Probably looks like a shuck or something to a fish. It's going to have two ribs. One is a really fine silver wire. This is the finest one I have, which I think is a Mayo Flycraft. So it's fairly close to, in the old small vineyard spools, it would have been about a number 27. Not sure what the diameter is, but it's thin. The other rib, I'm going to use some pearl lurex. Catch that in as well. I'll bring the thread forward, trapping down all those under the body, and come back down again. On the way down, just keep that two rib materials held so that you can go right back to the start of the tail there, like so. Then I'm going to get some wax. And get some, this is it's a dark olive seals for. I've just added a pinch of black and a very tiny pinch of dark green to it, and that's just the mix I like. But you know, I'm sure whatever dark olive dubbing you have, seals for sub, hair dub, that sort of stuff, will be fine. So just get it anchored in place, and then you can keep a twist in the dubbing. That just tends to be a little bit less hairy, for want of a better description. And when you've got up, then just pull away any excess, stroke them back like so. Then I'm going to remove all these extra bits that we don't need. So I'm going to bring this rib forward. Now you'll notice that this goes at almost all sorts of colours. Greeny, orangey, copper in the light. It's a really nice effect. And then just bring it around, catch it in underneath. Okay. So turn her to either side. Just rotate that just so I can see what I'm doing for snipping it off. And then I'm going to catch this really fine wire, and I'm going to go in the same direction, and I'm just going to basically catch it on the edge of that pearl lurex, and that just add a little bit more strength to it without covering it up. Just be careful. If you're using a very heavy diameter like 0.2, it gets across the pearl and you lose the effect. Now if you feel that any fibres are too long, you can come in at this stage and just trim them a little bit. You want them scruffed out a bit, but not so much that they're going to be causing a problem on your wing or that. So a few fibres there that were really a bit too long, so just trim those down. Okay, so get it the way you want, or the way you'd like it. Next then is a hackle. So I'm going to use this a whiting black. You could use a dark or sooty olive on it, but I'm going to use this whiting. I'm going to go for longish barbs on it. I should have one here I pulled off a while ago to see which one. I'll use this one. This one is slightly shorter than the other, but I want to keep the other one for tying in front of. When you can catch it in by the tip, I'm just catching in by the stem. It doesn't really make much difference. The barbs are nearly all the same length. So you're looking at probably 2 to 3 turns. Okay, so we have 2 there. Let's give it 1 more and catch that in. And pull everything back, all the fibres that you can back out of the way, and trap them down. You're going to have a few straggly bits of seals for it. Say the fibres on this are fairly short anyway, so I could have used this one, but I don't want them to cloak back too far on the body. I want that body and rib to really show through. I tell you, a similar pattern with a blade wing, and I would use this length, slightly longer fibres that would go back almost to the barb, because I'd be tying it in front of the wing. So that's my logic, if you like. Let's get a bronze mallard feather for the wing. Now this one is a little bit damaged looking, but I think we'll get away with it. So we just pull all the fibres out at a right angle. Sometimes you get that, and if you're just careful, pull them away. I'm going to fold them, and I'm going to fold them again. I got a stringer there which is going to make it hard to fold it, so I'm just going to cut that. Sometimes you get a bit of stem, like a string that's keeping them together, and it makes it difficult to fold them. So if you get that, just trim it off. Okay, checking my tips. I'm going to put it in flat over the top. I'm going to go back at least halfway back to tail. I'm just going to bring the thread over. So it's not quite a dabbler wing, but it's a bit like a dabbler wing. Just going to have a look here. I'm going to get 1 turn underneath the wing there, and then come in at an angle and snip off. Okay. And I'm going to start here where I got that turn of thread under the eye. I'm going to work my way back. 1 strand there, and then start forming my head. So form as neat a head as you can. It's not looking too bad. Now, if you want to flatten the wing further, catch this, push it forward and slide it back, and that'll drop it down a bit like you would do with stimulators, just to drop the wing a bit. It's up to you. That's not bad, so don't need to do much with it anyway. Get your whip finish tool. I'm just going to pull my wing and hackle back, and then just build up the last piece of the head and tie it off. Okay, and you can add the lacquer first or second. I'll just do it second to be different today. You know, I normally put the drops of lacquer on before I put your clear varnish or clear lacquer. Let it dry in for a second or two. Okay, so just left that dry in for a few seconds. I just paused. It's going to get my UV resin. It is kind of important that the lacquer has dried in, or your UV resin mightn't set. So just very carefully put that all around. Now, I'm sure you've seen this loads of times before, but if it happens that your lacquer goes into the eye, just push the end of a hackle stem through and free it up. Get your torch and set your resin. You can go back over this with another touch of clear lacquer, or if you don't want to use the resin, you can give just several coats of clear varnish. And there's your finished fly. As I say, it's a really good dark olive pattern, and works on various lakes and venues for me around the country, so hopefully it'll be one that would work for you as well.